In this video, we'll take a look at page data in Liferay Analytics Cloud. I'm currently logged into my workspace with the site's dashboard open, and I'm going to select the Pages tab. This takes me to a list of all the pages on my site. At a glance, we can see some basic statistics for each page, including number of unique visitors, views, time on page, bounce rate, entrances, and exit percent. Let's look at an individual page's data. The most viewed page on our list is, unsurprisingly, the main site landing page, digital experience software tailored to your needs. This is the page that people see when they go directly to liferay.com, which you can see here. I'll go back to Analytics Cloud and select this page. I'm taken to the Overview tab for the page. You can see that we have two additional tabs, Path and Known Individuals. We'll take a closer look at Path in a minute and Known Individuals in a separate video. On the Overview tab, we find a number of data panels specific to the selected page. At the top, we have the Visitors Behavior panel. The Visitors Behavior panel shows us the number of unique visitors, views, bounce rate, time on page, entrances, and exit rate. Unique visitors is the number of individual visitors based on IP address. Views counts the number of total views to a page regardless of IP address. Bounce rate tells us how many people leave the page without interacting with the page at all. Time on page is the average amount of time spent on the page. Entrances tells us how many people first visit the site from the page. And exit rate tells us the percentage of people who leave the site without further interactions after visiting the page. I can hover over the line graph for each of these metrics to see details for specific days. Under each metric, you can see the trend rate, which compares the current time frame, in this case the last 30 days, to the previous time frame, and indicates whether that metric has increased, decreased, or remained the same. We also have the ability to change the time frame of the displayed data. In the top right corner, this drop-down allows us to change the time frame from the last 30 days to the last 24 hours, last 7 days, last 90 days, and so forth. I can even set a custom range. I'll select the last 90 days, and now each metric reflects that time frame. In the bottom left corner, the Compare to Previous checkbox allows me to compare my set time frame to the previous time frame. In this case, the last 90 days to the previous 90 days. This shows up on the graphs as a dotted line, and I can once again hover over the graph to see a comparison for specific days. The next data panel is the Audience panel. This panel contains three graphs: a donut graph for visitors, one for segmented viewers, and a bar chart for segments at the time of view. The visitors chart is divided into two categories: anonymous individuals and known individuals, with the total number of visitors shown in the middle. Known individuals are further divided in the segmented viewers chart, which shows the percentage that have been segmented and those that are unsegmented. In this case, of the 52,000 visitors, only 80 are known, and of those 80 visitors, 76% or 61 visitors have been sorted into a segment. The bar chart, segments at the time of view, shows us the specific segments to which known segmented viewers belong. So, the 61 segmented visitors are further classified as interested in commerce, interested in the Analytics Cloud, and so forth. As with most Analytics Cloud elements, I can hover over a segment to see specific numbers, and I can change the time frame using the drop-down at the right. We'll talk more about segmentation and how to create segments in a separate video. The Views by Location panel shows us where in the world visitors to the page are located. The world map shows a color-coded view, with darker blue representing more views. There's also a list of the top regions below the map. As usual, we can hover over the map to see specific data points, and we can change the time frame using the drop-down. In the Views by Technology panel, we can see what types of devices and browsers visitors use when they visit the page. So, most of our visitors use a desktop device, specifically Linux operating system, and they visit the site using Chrome as their browser. The last panel is the Displayed Assets panel, which lists all assets that appear on the page. Assets are pieces of content that make up a page. For example, we can see that there are footer and social icons assets on this page. And when I pull up the home page, you can see those assets at the bottom of the page. If we want to look at the data for a specific asset, we can select it to go to the Assets overview. We'll look at asset data more closely in another video. The last important feature on the page overview is the filter. If I scroll back up to the top of the page, we see a filter dropdown. Here, you have the option to filter all of the data panels by device and location. So if I want to know how mobile users engage with the site homepage, I can select Phone to filter by that. You can see that the Visitors Behavior panel has changed to reflect this filter. We've dropped from 52,000 unique visitors to about 13,000. And the time spent on page has decreased from about a minute to about 19 seconds. And if I scroll down, I can see that the other data panels have changed as well. I can also add the location filter. If I want to see how many people visit the site from Canada, I can select that and filter by that. Note that my device filter is still on, so this data shows all mobile users in Canada. I can remove the device filter to see all users in Canada, or choose Clear Filter to return to the default view. The filter option shows up on all three tabs, Overview, Path, and Known Individuals, and it will stay on when you switch between the tabs. So I'm going to clear that before we proceed. Let's take a look at paths now. Paths show us where page visitors originate. So we can see on the left the top 3 referrers, that is, other websites that direct traffic to our page. We can also see the number of views for each referrer, 4,000, just under 2,000, 600, and then all others are about 17,000. On the right, the green box gives us the number of views from direct traffic, around 37,000. Below that, we have the total number for all referrers, so about 24,000. This tells us that many visitors arrive at our homepage from Google or from another referrer. Overall, though, most visitors come directly to our site. If I hover over these top 3 referrers, we can see that this third one turns into a link. That is because this is another page on our site. I can select a link to go to the analytics overview for that page. As with the overview, we can add filters to paths to see how people arrive at our page from different device types and from different locations. So once again, I'll look at phone users in Canada. And we can see how our paths have changed based on those filters. This concludes our look at page data in Liferay Analytics Cloud.